Hi guys, and welcome back to the Triple Crown Wargaming studio, where you join us for another exciting episode of this month in Warhammer. Our monthly update on all things kind of in the Warhammer world that are happening in the Triple Crown studio.
Indeed.
Scott looking at me there, not sure where I was going, but I'm going to the normal place. You are stuck with, as ever, myself, James the Lawmaster Lamin, and joining me today, just the one, Scott the Duke McHugh.
Hello.
He is the one and only.
Bit of Chesney Hawks there.
Yeah, just for you. So as ever, it'll be a round table discussion, although it's more of a sort of short area discussion today, just me and Scott.
More of a sort of corner sofa.
Corner sofa. Everything from the serious to, as you might have guessed, the silly. So we'll do all of the usual things you've come to expect from this month in Warhammer. We'll take a look at new releases. We'll be checking out what hobby we've been getting up to in the last 4 weeks. Mm-hmm. Have a look at social media stuff, anything that we could describe as Warhammer news. And then today we're going to have a chat about how we build competitive army lists.
Yes.
And the reason for that will become more apparent later as we continue. So, and
as
then,
will the reason for me having a cheat sheet.
Yeah,
as well,
Scott's got a cheat sheet. Everyone gets papers. And then obviously, as always, the end of the video we'll go through what you can expect to find coming up on the channel in the next 4 weeks.
Indeed.
So, yeah, let's start with new releases. There are some.
Yeah.
A lot of time is spent scouring the internet. I should say a lot of time
in the last 4 weeks
scouring the internet to find out what's coming out that we might have missed. Not a lot, but something, which is nice. So, Games Workshop released Warhammer Underworld's Black Powder's Buccaneers, which is a sort of ogre character and various animals.
Yeah, I think there's a nobbler in there.
Yeah, there's a monkey,
a bird, a monkey, and something else.
I feel like it's a bird, a monkey, and a nobbler, and the ogre.
Oh, maybe.
Sure.
Maybe.
Maybe.
I thought there were 5, but yeah.
Maybe there's 4. Maybe there's 5. Who knows?
Who knows?
We should have checked. But the ogre's great. I think he makes any sort of level of ogre, lord or hero, tyrant or bruiser.
Yeah.
Fine. Man-eater. Hunter.
Possibly.
Yeah, I like him as a man-eater a lot, actually. Yeah. He's a man-eater. Give me one of those episodes.
Does make you work.
He does make you sweat hard.
Yeah, I
could have gone with the Hall & Oates man-eater, couldn't we, instead?
But I think I'll be picking up that box, definitely.
I like it.
To add to my man-eaters, which are currently not built.
Add to my pile of man-eaters to build.
Yeah.
If you don't want the monkey, I will take the monkey off you.
Sure.
I have a fledgling Empire force that loves a powder monkey, and he just looks like the best powder monkey ever.
I might sort of model him as dead on the man-eater's base. Just for
How dare you? The disrespect. £25 that one. So... But to be fair, I was going to say pricey, but the man-eaters themselves are like 17, 18 quid now.
17 quid.
Yeah, they are quite expensive. So
it's expensive if you're only going to use the character, the ogre. But if you can find a use for the other bits, it gets a bit better.
There's good hobby opportunities in that one, I think. Again, the monkey would be really cool on the sky cannon, like lighting the sky cannon. That'd be loads of fun.
Yeah.
So I could see like good enjoyment out of it. But we've dragged out discussion about this box a really long time. So on to the second and final of our new releases. Is the Forge-Rolled Blood Bowl Rat Ogre. Now we do a lot of. They release some stuff for Blood Bowl on the channel because it's so good. It's so transferable for Warhammer.
Yeah, and they do such nice like different poses as well than what you can sort of get for those types of models. So obviously the Rat Ogres are 3 fixed poses.
They're a box of 2. No, they're a box of 2, and you don't see people use them very much because, to be honest, they've not aged very well. But they come with the giant rats. You get like 6 or 10 giant rats and 2 rat ogres and a couple of pack masters. That's like the box.
Yeah. I don't know if I've ever seen that box.
The Island of Blood ones have got 2 poses, which is the ones that you see people use because they're really nice.
Yeah.
The older ones have not aged well, but there's a few different ways to put them together because they're a multi-part.
Right, okay. But I mean,
this is nice.
It just gives you a much more sort of animated pose.
He's lovely.
He is very nice, yeah. And it's worth saying as well, I saw this online. Someone had ordered and received a Blood Bowl Rat Ogre. Well, received the box for a Blood Bowl Rat Ogre. But inside the box was actually, pieces for a different model. And they were like, what do you think this is? Just had the sort of bits laid about. And then they sort of put them together and was like, actually, this is a new Yeti. This is a new Blood Bowl Yeti.
They haven't released that Yeti either. There's nothing wrong with that sentence. They haven't released that Yeti. It's a legitimate sentence.
So, I'm just going to gloss over that. Probably for a Norse team that's coming out soon-ish at some point.
Maybe. I don't remember what Yetis went in.
I don't think they went in ogres.
Unless they did an ogre team. Did they ever do ogre teams? I don't think they did. The ogres were always the big guys for the better teams, weren't they? Because the humans could take an ogre.
Well, I'm thinking of the computer game Blood Bowl.
Is there an ogre team on there?
There is, yeah.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that.
You have like 6 ogres and like 4 nobblers.
I only played a couple of leagues of that last year. Don't remember that.
I mean, we had someone in our league with an ogre team, so that is concerning.
Oh, we did, didn't we? Yeah.
But I don't think Yetis were ever in the ogre team. They certainly weren't on the computer game. I think they were only ever for the Norse team.
Okay, well that might be coming out at some point, which would be very
knows?
cool. If it's we don't know the price or when, or if it's even could be completely fake. Could be a really good fake by someone.
Could be.
But yeah, the rat ogre obviously he's good for a rat ogre. He makes a good unit filler or a bone breaker mount as well. There's a few options for him. He's £21, so he is expensive for just using as a rat ogre, which is similar to what we just said. But he's really nice.
He is.
And we did the sort of special rat ogre a few episodes ago when they released him. There's like the named character one. So there's a couple there now that you can. I reckon you could kit bash up as well if you wanted. Depends how hardcore you're into spending lots of money on Skaven. Rat ogres in particular, which is bold. But very cool. But just to touch back on the Blood Bowl stuff, I saw a really nicely converted. Probably should talk about this in social media. Skaven team where they'd put the heads from the Plague Claw Catapult crew.
Yeah.
On
They're
them.
in like gas masks, aren't
yeah.
they? Yeah.
And then they had like where they had the footballs, they'd replaced them with like ball bearings type things or like plastic.
Oh, and they made them into
Globadiers.
Yeah,
which
I
looked
saw that as well.
Ace.
Yeah.
And I think they'd used half for Globadiers and half for something else. I want to say sensor sparers, something like that. And they'd done like
they had also converted some Warlock Giselles.
That's
I don't think they'd used the same.
They were
storm
vermin.
But yeah. They
very
looked
cool.
very good as well.
Sorry, you should have noted down who that was. Whoever you are, that was very cool hobby.
We're big fans.
We liked that. We were really big fans. I think I might have put a like on it on the social medias as well.
Ooh.
And you know, everyone knows my lack of use of the social medias. A profile picture that's about 10 years old. No one needs to see more of this face.
When you looked good.
Do you know, I'll take it. I'll take it. So I think that brings our new release section to an end, and what a sad end it
I
is.
think we stretched that out pretty much as long as we could.
Hobby wise, what have you been working on, Scott?
Vampires.
I did not see that coming. What's that, mate?
I might be going to an event in sort of start of April.
Yeah.
Just
and
outside Huddersfield.
Yeah.
Taking some vampires, which I need to get lots painted for.
Yeah, you were saying to me last night, and I was like, you can't have that much. You're like, I've got all of this. So I'm like, oh dear.
Yeah. Considering I already owned, before buying new things for this 3,000 point army, I already owned well over 4,000 points of painted vampire counts.
I just hear more commitment from you. That's all I hear.
And for this 3,000 point army, I worked out I needed to paint about 2,200 points.
The vampire counts are cool, period. I'm
sorry.
sorry.
6,500 points I'll have by the end of this.
Painted? How cool's that? That's amazing. Like, that's such a good feeling when you've got that many
It's not a good
painted.
feeling when I've got 2 months to get it done.
Oh, yeah, here he goes. Oh, I've got 2 months to get it done.
Yeah, but I have a proper job.
In about 4 weeks' time, you'll be like, oh, it's all finished. So he's like, he panics, goes on like a big rant about how he's got no time, and then finishes before all of us. You always finish first, and you know you do.
Because I hate leaving things to the last minute.
There's me like 2 days before, like 4 foam brushes in the mouth.
Scott, can you do this basin for me?
Get a basin. So, but you're like done weeks before. I love it. So I live for it.
Lots of vampires. Some hex wraiths. I've painted up some hex wraiths. Some more dire wolves.
I saw those actually.
Yeah, I've got sort of 10 or 15 of those painted, I think, in the past few weeks. Bats. 2 units of 2 bat swarms. From using the
Have you
Curse
painted
City
them
bats.
now?
I do.
Because we played a couple of weeks ago, and they weren't painted.
Yeah, I painted them last weekend, maybe.
Oh, okay, cool.
Which was 2 weekends ago by the time you're saying this.
Nice.
Something like that. Yeah, got them painted. Yeah, so I've got a few more bits to do and build and buy. But it's getting there.
It's getting there. So what have you bought this month, Scott?
I've bought some Pharisian wolves to use as dire wolves. I think I bought 2 packs of those. Some Hexwraiths, some Vargulfs. I think that was this month.
Vargluffs.
Did I buy anything else? No, I think that was it. Fenrisian Wolves. Oh, I bought the new direwolves, the actual direwolves. I like them. I like the models. I do think I prefer the Fenrisian Wolves though.
So we disagreed on this, didn't we? Because I was really impressed. They rank up so well. They look so good on the bases.
Rank up very well.
Really nice scale and size. Really liked them. I've got lots of the previous generation direwolves, which are massive, absolutely massive.
Yeah.
And these are much nicer. So you are tempting me to purchase some of those.
Yeah, because I mean it is a bit annoying because the Fenrisian Wolves are a little bit more expensive.
Yes.
Not too much more, but a little bit more.
£6 for 10 more, is it?
Well,
like
yeah,
18 quid for 5,
like
something like
and
that.
they're £31 or £30.50,
okay,
I think.
So
for
it's like
direwolves.
£5.
Yeah, it's not too much, but because I've got 30 of the Fenrisian Wolves, I'll only have 10 of the sort of new direwolves, and they're so different. I just think I'd prefer to have.
Oh, so you're not gonna use the 10 new ones?
I don't think so.
Wow.
No, I'm going to see where they're going to be the last thing I paint, and I'm going to see where I get to.
Because you might have things that allow you to get more direwolves than you start with.
Yeah.
Right?
So I could need to use them anyway. But I'm going to see where I get to and where I am when I've done the rest of it. And if I've got time to sort of build and paint the Fenrisian Wolves, I've got to say they don't take long. It's spray them grey sear and contrast them and put some blood on them and they're done. They're not golden demon winning. But yeah, so I'll see where I get to and decide then, I think.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So what is the plan sort of for this next?
Vampires.
Just keeping hammering the vamps.
Yeah, I want to get 10. Well, next month I want to get all my Hexwraiths done, which is 19. 5 of them are sort of half done. 19 more, and I've got 9 of them to build.
I did say to you though, do them lot. I've got 15 painted. You can do them last. If you want.
So I'll need to finish at least sort of probably 2 lots of 5 of them. Finish the sort of ones I've got half done. Finish the ones I've got sprayed. That will mean I'd need 9 more for the list, so I could borrow yours.
Could borrow.
I'm going to leave 3.
If you were desperate.
Leave 3 Vargeist and a Vargulf till the end.
Yeah, because you've got
that which
painted,
I can borrow.
Yeah. And you're painting them basically the same
pretty much
scheme as mine, aren't you?
Yeah.
She said copied out of the book scheme, just in case. I'm no painting genius. They're basically a really, really cheaty, easy version of how they look in the book.
So at least 10 Hexwraiths, preferably all of them, but at least 10. 3 Vargeists and a Vargulf.
So plenty.
Oh, and a unit filler for my skeletons. Need to get that done. Yeah.
And the package.
Yeah,
which is
hilarious.
40mm base with some stuff on it.
Yeah, which I'm sure I'll put some pictures of up at some point when it's done.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah.
I've seen the early concept. I've seen the concept
art.
But,
just me balancing things.
Scott balancing stuff on a base, basically, and sending a photo going, what's everyone think of this? Need more blue tack.
What about you? What have you been up to in the last few weeks? Yeah.
Lots of hobby, tons. Obviously, last episode I was talking about the volume of dwarves and chaos, and then it's all kind of shifted because we got our empire back from Warpaint Mini.
Yep, we did.
Which we've got some stuff to add to it and to finish off. To go with what we got, and we just got like lots of base and stuff to sort out and general things to. Everyone who knows me knows I'm a tinkerer, so I get something and then I'm like, I need to add this. So why don't I just add that? I could
just freehands on the
banners.
I'll
bring some freehand onto that. Yeah, that take me 10 minutes. Yeah, nice, but it all adds up. Obviously, that's how you get in trouble. But like, just really, it's just like doing the basing and making it really cool and stuff like that. So. I knew I would mess about and spend time sort of doing that, so I didn't. That wasn't something we wanted the guys over there to do for us. Yeah. So lots of Empire in the last week. Yeah. I don't know what I'd said on the last episode because it's all starting to blend in. I've been doing so much hobby because this is my quieter time for work, so I do get a lot of hobby done.
Proper job.
Shut up. I do get a lot of hobby done, so I don't know if I said last time I painted a whole squad of handgunners for Dwarves Thunderers. I did them and I did an organ gun. I don't know if that was just before the last video.
I've done the organ gun. I don't know about the Thunderers.
I've done an organ gun. I think I've done a second organ gun since then. I've got 2 painted organ guns.
Oh, okay.
So I did those
the second one, then.
and the Thunderers. So if you've watched the last video and I've forgotten what I said because I don't know. It's a 4-week cycle. I get confused sometimes. Right? I've thrown quite a lot of hobby time on actually. And then I've painted a Celestial Wizard, a Light Wizard, a squad of archers.
Yep.
Couple
of knights.
These Empire, some knights. I've built some fillers and what could be a package if I take Empire to the other event.
Yeah.
I've painted some additional demigryphs to go with the ones we got back, so we've got more options there. And it's another 2 basically. I've painted Carl Franz on Deathclaw.
Yeah.
Which we may have a use for very soon.
Who knows?
Which, big kit, cool. They're different for me. I haven't painted a big kit for ages actually, so that was interesting. Getting the large brushes out. A warrior priest. I painted that yesterday, didn't I? Because I sent you guys some pictures. A load of great swords. A chunk of great swords. Quite a bit. Yeah, quite a lot for me anyway, because I'm quite slow. So quite a lot.
It took you 6 months to do sort of 15 cast wolves?
Yeah, all right, mate. Chris Page, I just want to say I love you still. Great guy. Thank you. But yeah, so quite a bit for me, quite a lot of. But it's been very much a labour of getting it done, trying to just sort of control my worst urges, like we talked about. Yeah. Done some freehand banners though. You'll like them. One's really old actually that I did years ago. Yeah. But I've done like some more in the kind of spirit of that banner, which is just a bit of sort of fun and something quite cool. I'm really looking forward to putting some pictures of it up, but I want to finish the stuff. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, I want to kind of show you guys not whip stuff,
in its full
but
glory.
Kind of some proper glory. Yeah. So yeah, lots. Lots. Yeah, lots for me, and I've probably missed loads of it thinking about it. I've not done any other systems though.
No.
Because that's always a danger for me. Someone drifts another system under my nose. They're like, in 1998 you started collecting Eldar, and Games Workshop are like, here's Eldar. I'm like, no. No other systems, no. But my Chaos have been very much shelved, so for anyone expecting Chaos Slanesh updates, I'm afraid they're probably going to be summertime before we really see any meaningful progress on them now, because they were potentially my army for the Holmfirth event, that's what I was talking about earlier. But with this Empire and obviously wanting to get them on the channel so badly, because they're so close, so you go, oh well, I'll do that. And then I've got the duels, which I've done about half of now. So again, you're looking and thinking,
tinkering through that.
Yeah, I'm just chipping away. So I look and think, when I've done with this Empire, I'm probably going to jump back onto them. Yeah. Because, we want to get them on the channel. I know there's a lot of Dwarf fans who've been very patient with us, so we do appreciate it.
Because they're the last army, aren't they?
They are the only army
last army
that we haven't had a battle report.
Yeah.
So I do want to do them. They would have come before this Empire, but because we got it back,
because the Empire's
so close, you think,
well,
I'll do some cool stuff. So yeah, so that's it really. Bought wise, just some paints. Really for me, just some paint. I don't think I've bought any figures. I bought some different basing stuff for the Empire. Yeah. Some additional paints, lots of brushes because I'm killing them at the moment. I'll tell you what I bought. Actually, really eye-opening for me as a painter. So if you're a painter, I'm not pretending I'm a particularly amazing one, by the way. But I bought some ball bearings. Bought some army painter mixing ball bearings to just drop 2 of into a pot. I think when we had Warpaint when we had Liam on, he was using them as well. And he sort of had mentioned it to me, and I'd sort of drifted along, and then I was in a hobby shop and saw them and thought, oh, you know what, I could stretch for them. So I did, and they're really cool, really, really good, particularly the metallics. Okay. That's the thing that's really stood out to me. They really mix the Games Workshop metallics in particular, because I'm very much a creature of habit. Yeah. I worked for Games Workshop for a long time, and so I use their paints for everything, and now it's like, well, I don't know how that works, so I just do it. Other great paints are available. But that's been really
mixing
cool.
the sort of metallic paints, because I do find that actually that a lot of their metallic paints do separate really easily.
Yeah,
and they're
really
a pain to then mix back together.
Yeah. So big fan. Chuck a couple of them in. You still have to shake it like you're trying to record a really cool maraca line for a song, but it is really good. It really agitates. I think they call them paint agitators or something. I'm like, but it does agitate the paint very well. So I've kind of ended up chucking them into everything. I meant to say to you, if you pop into a certain shop last night, could you grab me an upper pack? But yeah, very cool. But that's it for me really. I've not bought much. My plan now is to get the Empire done, keep chipping away at the...
in the next sort of couple of weeks.
And try not to buy Eldar figures. All of you that know me personally know that is real. The struggle is real. So
difficult.
I'm doing well. So yeah, I think we'll move on. Let's move on. We've talked enough nonsense. I've talked enough nonsense. So social media wise, many of you may have noticed that we've changed how often we're posting on social media.
We have.
Why's that, Scott?
Well, so it used to be every day. We used to do a post every day, and then it would vary depending on what day it was, what sort of post we'd have. Now though, we've cut it down, so we do a post on every day we release a video. So that'll be Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays.
Yeah. We release a lot of videos.
Yeah, we do release a lot of videos, and then we also do at least one other post on the sort of other days. So sometimes that will be a Friday, it'll be an out of context. Sometimes it will be a Monday or a Wednesday, and it'll be like a sort of community interaction, like a question that we ask you guys what you want to see next on the channel, or some work in progress shots. Or it'll be a Saturday, and it'll be like a Saturday showcase of one of our Night of the Realm members, or one of our new armies.
Yep.
So we sort of add at least one of them in every week. And the reason we've sort of cut down is we want to bring you guys a better quality of social post, rather than just sort of, you know, if we didn't want to get to the point of where we'd just be posting for the sake of posting.
Yeah, I think certainly for me, there'd be times I'd be rushing a bit of painting out or rushing some things out because we want to post it to keep that going. And actually, like, we're not giving it out the way we'd actually like to give it out, if you like. And so we're sort of, I think you're right. It's all about quality. Yeah. So we wanna up that stakes. It doesn't change our release schedules, doesn't change all the content you find on the channel, just changes how often we might chuck some stuff on social media. But I've got lots of cool, crazy stuff in my brain for social media. And so's Max, who's not with us today. So there is going to be other sort of social media things happening. We just got to make them happen. So it's like really everything. Now, just on this, I'm going to take a quick touch back because we mentioned we were going to do a beginners video series.
We did.
Just as it's come back into my mind. And I know we still haven't done it, and I'm really sorry about that. Now, I did say after Christmas, because we had like a COVID incident here, which kind of skewed all of our filming and stuff. And we are still a bit skewed, I must say. We've been really kind of skewed out. Max is not with us today. We've lost him again. That's a couple of videos of late.
He wasn't at the.
So he's not been feeling his best. So we're just still kind of catching ourselves back up. We haven't forgotten it, is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
we are going to do it.
It is still coming.
But it's just actually putting that together now. Like we always say, the most important thing is giving out the content we promise our subscribers. Yeah. And that doesn't change. That always comes.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I just wanted to touch back on it. We haven't forgotten it because I had a couple of guys ask me about it over New Year when we were out at some events and stuff. And they're like, "Oh, when's it happening?" And I'm like, "I promise it is happening." But it's just been a bit crazy.
But it is coming. It will be up at some point.
Now, as Scott mentioned it, the Saturday Showcase, I'll give another quick shout out for that. Don't forget that as one of our subscribers, you can send us some pictures of your cool figures and we'll put them all over our social media. And people do, and they get more likes than most of my stuff, which is great. But no, seriously, if you're in that, we've had lots of new subscribers over the last few weeks. So if you aren't aware of this, send us your Saturday Showcase pictures. We want to put them up. We want to show off your cool hobby.
Whole armies, a few units, whatever you want to send us.
It makes us look better. I mean, it's something that's really cool. No, it's just really cool to see the community hobby, and I feel like the community is really in like a skyrocketing place at the moment. Where it's kind of, the numbers are just, I'm not sure why I keep doing this, the numbers are just kind of piling up, but so much cool stuff with the community at the minute, loads more events happening as well. So
I was saying to someone actually on who commented on one of our posts about the Derby Deathmatch, and they were like, "Oh, great to see a sort of sold out event," which I'm going to touch on later. But I was like, we obviously love selling out our events because it's always better the more people we can get to these events. It's better for everyone who's there. And it's great to see that growing community for a game that hasn't directly been supported for 6 years.
There's real fire at the moment in the community, real fire in people's bellies. We get a lot of messages just talking about cool hobby, or people just posting, like you said, commenting on our posts, saying about cool stuff. So it's a really cool place at the moment. Very exciting. So that kind of brings us on to the last part of this, which is a social media type thing, because I do include emails in that, which is what Scott's cheat sheet is for. Shut up. Which is what your cheat sheets are for.
Yes.
So I'm going to let you talk through it. I'm just going to sit here quietly and nod.
So we got an email, it would have been a few weeks ago now, probably about 3 or 4 weeks ago. It was just after the last
episode,
this month in Warhammer. From Jim Allen. Good to see you, Jim. How you doing, mate? And this was basically asking me about a Vampire Counts build and why I liked certain units, what I used, what I thought of his list. Now this came from commenting on, I can't remember if it was commenting on his post on a Vampire Counts Facebook group or replying to his comment on a post on that group. But it sort of went on from there, and then we had some messages going backwards and forwards, and I said, look, send me your list. I'll sort of go through what I think is good about it, what I maybe would change and why. And yeah, that led to me sort of sending him a list that I would maybe use, and this is all for the Holmfirth event. So Jim's also going to that, so I'm sure we'll see you there.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, so basically what I was going to do, I was going to go through the list that Jim sent me originally. And then he's also got some sort of, general ideas for what he's going to use each unit for. And then I'd go through and we can both go through sort of what we like about the list, what we'd maybe change.
A little bit of vampire experience in the studio.
A little bit, yeah.
Just a touch between us.
So, forgive me if this is a little bit not in the order you're used to, but it printed out over many, many pages. But so this is a 3,000 point list, as it's for Holmfirth. So we've got 2 units of zombies, unit 40 and unit 20, 42 skeletons with full command, 44 skeletons with full command, and 2 units of 5 direwolves.
So the skeletons have got sword and ball, yeah? Hammer and shield,
yes.
sorry.
Yeah, no upgrades. No upgrades to spears. Then Lords, we've got a level 4 Master Necromancer, who's got the Talisman of Preservation and the Book of Arcan. And then we've got a Vampire Lord, who is a level 1 wizard. He's got the Armour of Destiny, Sword of Strife, Quick Blood, and Red Fury.
Solid.
Yeah. Heroes, we've got a level 1 Necromancer with a Spell Scroll. Love a little Scroll Caddy. And we've got a Calm Wraith. I know you're a big fan of Calm Wraith.
Big fan.
Into Special, we've got a single Spirit Host, unit of 3 Vargheists with a Champion, a unit of Bat Swarms. Now, in Jim's original list, this was a unit of 1 Bat Swarm, which you can't have. They start out as units of 2. But we glossed over that. It was fixed in the list we sent back. But I think, to be fair, you could make such a minimal change to find that extra 35 points.
It's not a ton you're having to look for. No.
I mean, the core is bang on, so you can't drop any from there. But it's very easy to find that extra.
So there's a unit coming that you could drop something from.
Yes. So you've got Hex Wraiths, unit of 5 Hex Wraiths with a Champion. And you've got a unit of 41 Graveguard with great weapons, full command, and the Banner of the Barrows. And then in rare...
That is a strong unit, that, isn't it? That is a proper boy of a unit, that.
Yeah. In rare, you've got 1 Terrorgeist, and you've got 1 Mortis Engine with a Blasphemous Tome.
Okay.
So, first impressions were, there's a lot of good things in this list.
Yeah.
Level 4 Master Necro, absolutely solid choice. You don't want your 500 odd point level 4 Vampire Lord falling down a hole. Turn 1, I do that with frightening regularity.
We call it doing the McHugh, don't we?
You do. Quick Blood, Red Fury on the Vampire Lord, very solid choices.
Difficult to argue about that, isn't it?
Yeah. Book of Arcan as well, touching back to the Master Necromancer. Love that.
Yeah, great item.
Basically all of the Vampire Counts arcane items are so good.
I get in such danger when we review vampire lists because I'm like, I love that, I like that.
It's
I think that's really good. Yeah, solid.
That's
a big issue for the book.
It is. Everything's good.
Everything's quite good.
You can make a place for everything. Heroes, I think, was the one place where I was like, honestly, don't change anything.
Okay, interesting.
I think it's if you've got the points, add a White King BSB, but definitely don't change anything you've got here. So that's just a level 1 Necromancer and a Calm Wraith hero.
The Necromancer's his Scroll Caddy, isn't it?
Yeah.
I tend to probably, I really like the Book of Arcan like you, but it tends to be something I cut for points.
Yeah.
Not that you should, because it's a really good item, by the way.
For those of you who don't know what the Book of Arcan is, it's Van Hel's Dance Macabre, Bound Spell, power level 3. Which is select unit within 12. They can move 8 inches and they reroll failed hits in combat until the start of your next magic phase.
Really good.
So good.
If they're in combat, they just don't do the move. They just do the reroll hits. Amazing. Very strong. I mean, I tend to put the scroll on my level 4, and then I'll probably take the white and the Khan Wraith. But I think Necromancer, if you're going to have Book of Arcan level 4, great choice. Necromancer, Scroll Caddy, obvious choice.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of Vampire Heroes. I must say.
No.
Not something we talked about too much on the channel.
I feel like they're too expensive and don't have enough points to spend on them, weirdly, to make them good.
Yeah, they become... You try to make them really good.
And 50 points of vampiric powers just isn't enough. You
try to make them really good and they just become really expensive.
Yeah.
If you really want to insist on one, Jim, I think your heroes are much better without a vampire hero. But as we're discussing vampire heroes for a minute, I'll just segue us off. I think that the power is quick blood.
Yep.
I think don't fall into the trap of red furying them.
No.
And to be honest, there's other good powers on them. Aura of Dark Majesty, particularly nice. But I think when it comes down to it, quick blood is the power which prevents you taking Aura of Dark Majesty.
Yeah.
And to be completely frank, don't take any more than that.
No.
You just need to make them hit something because their big issue is they're not very survivable.
No.
And actually, without the Red Fury, they don't really kill enough to justify the 100 points they start at.
Yeah.
Which is quite a lot.
Yeah.
I know they're a level 1 wizard as well and stuff, but that's not why you're purchasing them. You can purchase a 65 point necromancer for level 1 wizard. So this is the problem. They're that jack of all, master of none problem. Like you say, because you can't get the quick blood and the red fury, because you can't kind of make them
get all the magic items on them as well,
it becomes harder. But the success I've had with them is on a Hellsteed. I don't think I've used the broomstick on the channel, have I? The broomstick model. I'll have to take some photos of that at some point. But I've got like a vampire on a broomstick, which is quite cool, which I use as a Hellsteed.
With the charm shield cat.
With the charm shield, which is a cat. Chucks the cat or whatever's here. Charm shield, lance, quick blood, other trickster's shard, very important. Dragonbane gem. So now you're thinking, well, not a lot of survivability there against cannons, artillery. Use the 4+ lookout sir mechanic off onto your hex wraiths. Very good because they can't be hurt by the attack unless it's magical, so they just suck it up and take no problem.
She almost has like a 4-up ward at that point.
Pretty much, yeah. The 2-up means that she's covered against flaming cannonballs from the dragon gem, and that she's covered against Laura metal, Laura light signature, Laura fire, very strong. All of that, particularly Laura light, and against her, and then the kind of the charm shield gives her that one-off. Cannon protection as well. So, and then she just sort of zips around. She kills war machines. She's really quick. She gets in the flank of stuff. Yeah, does lots of extra damage. Strength 7 on the charge. Yeah, she's got a lance.
Yeah, that's how I was gonna say I'd use them. Flying horse, lance. I make mine my BSB sometimes. Don't think that's necessary at all. But no. I go with Aura of Dark Majesty, and that's because I normally when I run that flying vampire hero, I run it with my quad scream triple geist list. Yeah. And dropping that leadership by 1 is huge.
Yeah, that's and again, this is actually something that we'll touch on a bit later on as well. So you may realise now why the discussion is how we build competitive army lists. Yeah. But we can touch on it now, which is the thing that's really important with any army list like this is thinking about the internal synergy. It's particularly strong for vampire counts because there's very few choices that you look at immediately and say that's a bad choice. Yeah. So what you have to think about is, well, what's the internal kind of balance of this army? What's the internal synergy? Where do I get that from?
What unit works best with the rest of my list?
Like Scott says, Aura Dark Majesty on her with the or on him with the Terrorgeist spam is really strong. Yeah. I don't run the 4 screams, so I would run her maybe pay for the level 2 and take death on her as well. So she's kind of got the sniper assassin type thing going on, so I tend to run her like that, where she's a versatile combat magic threat. You're using her as a support for the rest of your army.
Although I do normally also do go level 2 on death.
Yeah, it's a good choice.
Yeah, because if I can get Dim and Darkness.
Yes, and for me the option there is to get the snipes or purple suns.
Soulblight?
Yeah, Soulblight's not bad.
Yeah.
It's really to stop you challenging her out that I want to snipe her out those characters first so she can go in and do what she needs to do.
Yeah, big fan of your hero slot there.
Yeah, we're keen.
Special slot, again, pretty, as a general sort of sense, I think it's a good use of the units in there. Single Spirit Host, big fan. Vargas, big fan. I wouldn't bother with the champion though.
No, I was going to say, I think you've got some dead points in champions. Yeah. I think certainly for the Hex Wraiths as well. I never bother. And unless you're... It's different if you're, again, a bit like Scott's list, where you've got like characters that are kind of going to go in solo. Yeah. You want to get the Hex Wraiths in so that their champion can take the challenge. That works.
And then probably isn't hurt by it.
And then the character does their damage. Yeah. But because you're not doing that here, you're better to just save the 20 points. Yeah. That's most of what you needed to get that extra bat swarm in. So
yeah, absolutely.
Nice and easy then.
Because, most of the time you don't want to commit those hex rays to combat, and the champion gives you nothing in their sort of run-through ability, which I can't remember what it's called. Soulfire?
No, Soul Hunter.
Soul Hunter. Close.
But,
so I definitely drop those 2 champions.
Don't think you need those, yeah.
No, Bat Swarms, big fan of. I'm a huge fan of them. Just last night they helped me beat a Nurgle Warrior of Chaos unit by 11 in combat. Big fan.
I particularly like them in your list with the Graveguard.
Yes.
So I get the feeling, and I'm just scouting it, it's not Highlander this list, is it? So, to be honest, you could even think about stretching for a second unit of Bat Swarms in this list.
It could be very close to Highlander, it's just the core that really sort of lets it down.
Yeah,
which is Vampire's problem, really.
But yeah, because you've got Great Weapon Graveguard with Bannered Barrows, it makes lots of sense, because what you're doing is saying to your opponent, well, actually, I'm going to get to attack 2.
Yeah.
Unless you're an elf, I'm going to get to attack 2, which is really helpful.
And even if they are an elf, they don't get their rerolls.
No, and to be honest, you got 41 in there, is that? Yeah. That's probably a couple more than you need.
Yes, yeah, possibly. I'd probably drop the 2 champions and drop 2 Graveguard to get the extra 35 points to make that Bat Swarm.
And then drop the Khan. I'd probably put the Khan Wraith in them.
Yep.
Which makes them cause terror.
Yeah.
That's another great option. So, what's better than beating something in combat? Not having to fight it. Because it ran away. That's why I like Khan Wraith so much.
Yes.
Don't underestimate the power of the terror. I love that ability to have multiple terror causing units across a vast frontage of an army.
Yeah. But generally, big unit of Graveguard, big fan.
Yeah, stylistically, this is strong.
Yeah. And then it was just rare, which was 1 Terrorgeist and 1 Mortis Engine with the Blasphemous Tome. Now, both of these are very, very good choices.
Yes.
We're big fans of both of these. Obviously, the Terrorgeist is probably the more obvious filth. However, I think whatever one you go for, you need 2 of it.
Okay, interesting.
Or sort of 2 of one and 1 of the other, if you have 2 Terrorgeist and a Mortis Engine.
You could do that. Yeah, you could go that route. Is strong. I mean, I think because you've chosen Graveguard, you've made a really conscious decision that you want a really big fighty block in your list.
Yep.
And when you do that, that's fine. But you've probably invested, what you got, 40? I reckon you've invested about 560, 580 points in that, probably.
Bang in the middle, 570.
There you go. not too bad. I don't know the book that well. So, you've made a conscious decision there. If you considered like 8 Crypt Horrors and a Terrorgeist, it's probably the same sort of points. Now, I'm not saying you should change that. I'm not at all, because I actually think the Graveguard are strong. They'll do you really well. And certainly thinking about the Home event in particular, where you've got missions where you need to capture ground with Fortitude units, that Graveguard unit is absolutely ace. It's a really great choice for this event pack.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, certainly from that point of view, I think it means you're going to have to decide if you want one of each flavour. I don't think there's the points to have 2 of one and 1 of the other.
No,
you're going to have to decide. I don't mind one of each flavour as much as Scott. I think the only problem I have with it is that the obvious choice for me on turn 1 is to kill the Terrorgeist.
That's my issue with it. It doesn't give your opponent enough target saturation to make the wrong decision, because absolutely the right decision is kill that Terrorgeist turn 1.
Yeah, I agree. And in a way, I think that you might even be better pressed to have no Terrorgeists with this list. I know that sounds really bold and really crazy, but hear me out. I think you've got the scope in there then to do more Hex Wraiths, which will mean you've got 2 Hex Wraith threats. You're not Highlander, so it doesn't matter, which do a similar job, and you've gone for the big Grindathon unit, and the Mortis Engine really helps them to stick around. Although I must say, it only confers them a 6+ regen, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, yeah.
I also probably wouldn't take Blasphemous Tome in this list. The reason is if I'm taking Blasphemous Tome personally, I'd have a lot more level 1 Necromancers than you've got.
Yeah.
And I think the risk of blowing up and killing my level 4, or just like silly things like, your Vampire Lord does go for a spell. I know you probably shouldn't, but you think, well, I really need to get this champion back, or my Vampire Lord's fighting Skull Taker, you know what I mean, this turn. And he goes for the spell and he gets the miscast and then explodes.
Yeah.
I think I'm just not sure it's...
He did that every game of Vampires you played for about 6 months.
6 months, yeah.
Like every first spell his Vampire Lord cast, 2 dice, double 6, he's dead. Amazing.
I passed it on to you now.
You have, you really have.
So I think, for me, I think I would probably make a choice and say I'm going to go extra grindy and take 2 mortises, or I'm going to go sort of like take it down the middle, take 1 mortis and an extra unit of hex waves, because I think the goose just becomes the Terrorgeist just becomes too easy a target, or as Scott says, I think just go for 2 Terrorgeists if I'm being completely honest.
And to be fair, Jim
there
also
are
said...
big comp implications on that.
There are, yes. Jim also said that, you know, he plays dwarves a lot in sort of friendly and practice games, and he found that his Terrorgeist was just getting, you know, killed before it could do anything, and he was thinking of dropping it. Now, you do have that argument of drop it, you get a lot more stuff for the points.
Well, not as much as you should, because it's clearly too cheap.
It is too cheap. But I do think, especially against dwarves, against those you know, gun line, artillery heavy armies, you're just much better to give them 2 of them to kill.
That's the big secret in and why we do Highlander for our events actually, is because generally speaking, the really good stuff in the game, your opponent can deal with 1 of it.
Yeah.
But dealing with 2 of it is like
really
2 is
hard.
much better than the sum of its parts. You know, it's way better.
Yeah.
You can just apply such a huge amount of pressure, and one of the big reasons that's so powerful is because people start trying to split the difference.
Yeah.
They panic and they go, "Oh, I'll have to put a bit on that one, a bit on that one." They kill neither. Oh, you love to see
Worst
it.
case scenario.
And then
for them,
because you've got the magical prowess that you've got, you'll get the wounds back.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, you know, again, against dwarves, it's tough to justify more wraiths as well, because they've got the magical shooting to put you in the dirt. That said, tactically speaking, you've got dogs. Put them in front of your wraiths.
Yeah.
There's -2 to hit. You've got to kill the dogs first. So, you know, don't forget that as well. That does help. But I mean, overall, I think Scott's probably right. I don't personally, and this is just being really brutal, and there's a thing, I'll say that now because we'll talk about that again in a minute. The Mortis engine, you haven't took the units that it synergises best with.
Yeah.
You haven't took the Crypt Horrors. For me, the regular Ghouls are another really good choice.
Yeah.
With it, take 2, take Ghouls, get sort of big block of Ghouls, Mortis engine. Crypt Horrors, and that way the 2 Crypt Horrors have got the maximum regen.
Yeah, because they only get
the unit in the middle have got 5+ regen.
Yeah.
Now you've got a really tough list.
I mean, you could
go down the raise route,
yeah,
which we've talked about with the spamming necromancers. Yeah. I don't think you've done either of those things that maximise the Mortis engine there, if I'm honest.
You could get the 5 up on the Graveguard if you go with the second Mortis engine.
Now that's not bad.
It's not bad, no. You do have to find some points because if you go for the Blasphemous Tome. But as James was saying, you know, you've not really got the wizards to sort of maximise it.
No, I wouldn't.
So you could leave that off. Did it have another upgrade?
No.
No, okay.
That's just the tome.
Cool. But I do like the tome, so I would possibly try and find the points for it. But I think my overall sort of decision would be just go 2 Terrorgeists.
Yeah.
And that is essentially, to be fair, what I put in the list that I wrote for Jim, and I said, like, this is what I would sort of take. So I haven't got that exact list here. I don't want to ruin his list for Holmfirth, but I'll sort of give you the gist of it. So he said to me, I want it to be around a -3. That's sort of where I'm aiming for. So I was like, okay,
it's
that's
very
good.
solidly doable.
It's very reasonable comp score to aim for. If you just said to me, I want it to be a +8, I was like, well, this is going to be difficult.
It would have had Mortis engines in it then.
Yeah, yes. But, you know, I didn't change loads. The hero slot, I'm pretty sure I kept exactly the same. Changed some items on the Lords. Now, he'd put level 4 up ward saves, rather, on both of his Lords. And, to be honest, I just don't think they need them.
The Vampire Lord, I think, does.
I think he can get away with a 5+ ward.
Oh, I think you're braver than me.
I think he can get away with a 5+ ward.
It's just because if he dies, I've got that crumble factor.
But there's very little that will kill a combat Vampire Lord before you get a magic phase.
Yeah, there's a lot more at Holmfirth, though. Because there's dragons and big scary things, and they can refuse challenges that aren't from Lords.
Yeah, potentially.
So they're like, that's the noise the dragon makes as it eats you.
Okay.
So
potentially, but I definitely would drop the ward save on the level 4.
This is where we definitely 100% agree. I never take one.
He just doesn't.
Spoilers, I never take one, and people always go, I'm not going to bother putting the damage on him, he'll have a ward save, and I'm like, yeah, I don't take the ward save.
He just never gets hit.
No, not really. And if he's getting hit, you've probably already lost, if I'm being honest, because he should be behind your army.
In a unit
if I'm being completely
that
frank,
starts off at 20
there's a
zombies.
unit of 20 zombies in this list, isn't there?
There is,
And I'm sure that Jim's thinking that's the place for him.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to back Jim's play 100%. That's the place for him.
Yeah, 100%.
He goes in those 20 zombies. I'd maybe look in your core just quickly. You could drop a couple of skeletons for this. You've not taken advantage of the magic banner option in the core on one of those units of skeletons, and I think that's a bit of a miss. I think there's a couple of really good choices for that.
Yeah, Jim was also saying he finds that a lot of the time his units are out of his general sort of march bubble, and just because he's got so many units and they are quite large, he's got 3 units of 40 plus models in his core, the 40 Grave Guard.
Yeah.
There's a lot of models there. Now, what I recommended was swapping one of the units of skeletons for another unit of direwolves.
Yep.
And putting the rest of those points into a small unit of ghouls.
Yeah, ghouls don't do bad in the sort of 24...
28, 30.
Yeah,
I was going around that sort of 4 ranks of 7.
They do quite well in that sort of bracketing, 4 ranks of 6, 4 ranks of 7.
Yeah.
That's generally how I run them. They're quite good like that.
I also think that gives you another place for your Master Necromancer.
Yeah, if you want to.
Because against certain armies with a lot of sort of decent fast cavalry or fast units like Dark Elves,
yeah,
that unit of zombies, they're not going to care about
the
going
ghouls are a much bigger deterrent.
Exactly, because you'll go in, you'll go first, you'll probably kill that level 4, but they're dying. The ghouls will kill you back.
It's all about that tactical placement for you again. It's going, well, I'll be on the corner of the unit, I'll be tucked away, I'll make sure you can't get a ton of attacks on me. I'm toughness 4.
Yeah.
And then my ghouls are toughness 4 as well, so there's not a lot of obvious easy res there.
Yeah, it's not going to be like, they can just beat you on combat res and crumble you down.
Just, that's a look at your opponent.
Yeah,
I think 8 out of 10 they go into 20 zombies.
Absolutely,
because they become 40 zombies in 2 turns.
Yeah,
but
it just gives you the choice.
But it gives you that choice. Yeah,
because otherwise, at the moment, there's not really a good place for him other than those 20 zombies.
That's it.
You don't want to put him in skeletons because they want to go in and they want to hold stuff in place. You could put him in the 40 zombies, but it doesn't really do any more than the 20 zombies does. And it's a bigger unit, so it's harder to hide.
I think it's worse because you won't hide those 40.
Yeah.
You'll put those 40 front and centre, whereas for me, the 20 zombies, or even a small unit of ghouls, go behind your Graveguard.
Yeah.
And go,
just sit sort of a few inches behind it.
Alright, mate.
All the spells are just going to hit the Graveguard and make them insane.
But yeah, I like standard of
Banner of Swiftness. That was the other recommendation
on the skeletons. I also don't even mind. I don't mind Banner of Eternal Flame either. And the reason I don't is because although the skeletons are not so great, and certainly if you're thinking of a white, I'm not saying you are, but if you were thinking of a white, you could go in the skeletons. I know you'd be thinking Banner of Barrows buffs the white, but it could be smart to put the vampire or the white in the skeletons.
Yep.
Then use if they haven't got a magic weapon, they can get the bonus of the flaming attacks. Get them in the same combat as a Graveguard. You know, the drill.
Skeletons go
first.
Yeah.
Take the regen off of the thing you're fighting. So it's just an option, but I think Banner of Swiftness is the best choice. That's the one I would choose myself.
The sort of idea was for the Vampire Lord to go in that unit of 40 skeletons, so I was like, I do think Banner of Swiftness is the way to go.
Yeah, 100%. It helps to offset the fact that you've taken 2 points of his movement off him. Because he's moving 6, and they're only 4. So yeah, really, I completely agree. There's not a lot though here. This could go as it stands and compete.
Yeah,
this will compete as it stands. It just
maybe find 35 points to make those bat swarms legal.
Make that legal, but we're assuming that's done.
Yeah. But the only other real changes really I think was drop a couple of Graveguard just to get the points, and the champions off the Vargeist and the Hex Wraiths get the points for bat swarms.
Yeah.
So up them to unit 2. I think I also had 2 units of 2. I think I had another unit of them. They're pluses. They're really good for offsetting your comp from your Terrorgeist, which I had 2 of.
Yeah, that would make sense.
So really sort of good for that. Also, I swapped the magic items on the Lord. So he's currently got Sword of Strife for +2 attacks. With Red Fury, I just don't think he needs it.
He does kill a lot.
He does, but I don't think he's strong enough to kill the things that the rest of your troops really struggle to kill.
Yeah, I do think you probably want to look at strength. I know it's that boring cliche, yawn, you know, like, you know what I mean? Like, it is a bit yawn fest, it is.
Yeah.
But there's a reason
There's a reason.
Fest,
it's so good.
It's really consistent, so... it just means that he's scary against basically everything he ever fights.
Yeah. And I also said, I think as well, you could drop Quick Blood. It is a -1 on the comp. That's the only reason I would drop it for the comp. Or, you know, if I didn't have the points. But to be honest, I'd just find the points. And you could drop it. I don't think I did. I can't remember.
If you don't need to drop it, then to have the comp you want, keep it 100%. When we went to Cardiff, I took Vampire Counts, we talked about on the channel. There's lots of content you can view that on. And I took, one of the reasons I took Quick Blood was because I didn't need to drop it. I felt that my comp was alright with it. I think I was a -2. Very small minus. Came away with a great weekend's results. You know, won all my games. happy with that. I don't think anyone can be unhappy
No.
with that. That was, and again, part of that was that vampire he wasn't called on as much as he normally is, but when he was, yeah,
he could deliver against.
Yeah,
absolutely
he
everything.
absolutely brought it in for me, and that was crucial because of that. I fought 2 elf armies. So it makes a huge difference. Not just because it stops them re-rolling against you. That's what makes it so good.
So good.
Fan.
Just to sort of make it clear, the reason I think you can drop quick blood if you have to is because you can get re-rolls to hit from your spells.
Yeah, and
you've got guaranteed Van Helsing, Book of Arcan, and let's be fair, you've probably got another one.
That's going to be your first choice most games.
Yeah,
it's very good.
Absolutely, it's so good. 1 and 2, Van Helsing, Hellish Vigor, so good.
Yeah, great.
But that was really all the sort of changes that I recommended to Jim, and you know, we went through a lot, and obviously I'll leave that for him to put in use at home first, but there wasn't, you know, wholesale changes in the list. Yeah, there's not wholesale changes, and I think we could take any vampire list that looked completely different to this, and it'd still just be minimal changes and a bit of tweaking, because like you said, basically everything in the book is so good. You just have to synergise it with what it works with.
Just an army for tuning up. There's not much that's not... And that's like I say, when we're saying about the Mortis engine, it's not that we think it's bad, it's an amazing choice. I used one on a battle report, a while ago now, but I used one on the channel on a battle report. Really good. Really liked it. But I took Crypt Horrors.
Yeah, that was the other thing I said. You could, you know, it would change the list a lot, but you could drop the 40 Graveguard for 2 units of 8 Crypt Horrors.
Yeah, personally, I think at that point you're saying this is completely different now.
Yeah.
And I actually think, in a way, that's better for Holmfirth because of the missions.
Yeah, they're
very good.
Because you've got the banner in there.
I would definitely stick with them. I probably would just have 38 rather than 41. I think you can spare a couple because you're going to drop some characters in there anyway.
Carmrath goes in there. Vampire Lord goes in the remaining unit of 40 skeletons.
Yeah. Lots of good stuff, but very cool. Thanks for sending it in.
Yes, thank you. We hope, well, I hope I helped.
I hope that I've added to Scott's illustrious advice.
And we look forward to seeing you in 7 weeks' time.
I know, it's really coming on.
I've got a lot of time.
I've got to decide on a faction. So I think I haven't even got a faction at the moment. I've played a couple of games with one faction, I won't give it away, and a good victory, crushing defeat, absolutely horrifying defeat. My opponent was like, I don't think you're at the races today. I was like, no, I don't think I was either, but that was deeply upsetting.
You did absolutely smash me though.
I think the result was much more flattering than what actually happened in the game.
Maybe.
But
anyway, yes. If any of you out there do have lists you want to send us, if you've got any tactics questions that you want us to cover, drop us a message, drop us an email, whatever it is, and we'll try and help you out.
We'll get back to you. We'll cover it one way or another.
Yeah.
We might cover it in a 20-0 video at some point.
We might.
You never know. We do that too. So let's jump on a bit because we've covered a lot of our big discussion here as well, actually, which is pretty cool. So I'm going to talk about Warhammer news. What I call Warhammer news. I like that. I'd love to have like a da 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 da. That's where we start that section, but probably just over egging the pudding. So as ever, I'm going to start with the usual things. I start with Champions of Destiny. If you are not on the Champions of Destiny Facebook group.
Why not?
If you are in the UK and you're not on it, I don't know, but I think Parliament have passed a law that says that if you're a fantasy player of 8th edition in the UK and you're not on it, you legally are obligated to get yourself on it. I don't 100% know.
They've passed weirder laws.
They have definitely passed weirder laws. So make of that what you will. But massive shout out as ever to Mark Pete who started the group, and there's a lot of great admins on the group now. I think it's 5 or 6, and all of them work really hard. It's a fantastic community place. Yeah. I don't think we've met anyone off of it in person that we haven't thought this was a great day out. You know what I mean? This was a cool time.
Absolutely.
It's a great group. It's a really good place to go. Loads of tournament information on there, or event information, and just a good community of people. There was some guys on there again the other night. I'm getting back into it. I live here. 20 minutes. They've got like 4 or 5 guys saying, I'm not far away. We'll give you a game. Awesome. Why wouldn't you want that? Get together, make some friends, play some Warhammer. You'll love to see it.
What more do you want?
I don't know what more you want. I'm also going to mention our free sign up as well. You can sign up as a knight errant.
You can.
On our website. It's absolutely free.
Why would you not?
Why have you not done that? Now, at the minute, you will get very little hassle for doing that. We may have a newsletter at some point going forward, but not right now. But you'll find that there's more content on there that you can access than you can just on YouTube. It's free, and it gives you a little smidge of what it's like to get a Knight of the Realm subscription.
Yeah. And you get to look at our cool website as well.
Yeah.
Why would you not?
With cool figures on it.
Yeah.
So talking of events, I think that's probably going to be where I hand back to you very briefly. There's a couple, one new one recurring conversation, which is really cool. So the South Shields Slaughter.
Yes. All the
S's. Is the one there. I love a good alliteration event. So this one's happening on the 13th of March, a one-day event. 2,000 points, £18 a ticket. The event is being run by Andrew Tunnerdine. If I've said your name wrong, I'm very sorry. So it's as I said to Andrew, it's a bit far for us for one day. South Shields, I don't know if you know the geography of the United Kingdom, is probably
4.5, 5 hours.
At least it's got to be 300 miles away.
Yeah.
It's got to be at least 300 miles away.
A long way.
Which is a good drive.
Almost driving the entire length of England.
Basically, yeah. Now, England's not massive. If you're American, you're like, really?
All right.
All right.
I do that as a commute to work.
Yeah, that's a commute. But
for us,
that's a long way. We live in a tiny place, okay? So yeah, it's a bit far for us, but I did say we'll give it a massive shout out because it looks really, really different.
Very different. Yeah.
I know you were. I read the pack, and then we had a little chat, and then
I
you
was
were
halfway through reading the pack, and you phoned me.
I phoned you and said,
"Look at
this pack." Yeah.
Yes, literally doing it now. Yes. So from what I remember and understand of the pack, and apologies, Andrew, if I've got this wrong, but you can find the pack on the Champions of Destiny page.
You certainly can.
There is a post on there about it. So as James said, it's 2,000 points. It's £18. I think you get soft drinks included, lunch included.
Lunch
in that
is
price.
included.
I think you get soft drinks included in that price as well.
I'd have to check that.
Yeah, I think you do. I read that and I thought, ooh.
You definitely get lunch.
Yeah. But yeah, so essentially, there's no comp in the sense of, pluses and minuses or anything like that.
Yeah.
Or traffic light or anything like that.
Yeah, or like pools.
Yeah. What there is, though, it has to be Highlander. Now, the caveat on that is if you've taken one of every choice in the slot, you can take a second. So if you've taken one of every unit in core, you can take a second of a certain unit.
Yeah, I don't mind that. It's good for vampires.
Yeah. And then if you've taken two of everything, you can take a third, etc., etc. The next bit I remember is that you can't have, in your special slot, you can't have more than a total of wounds you can't have a total of wounds more than half of what is in your core slot. So if you have...
You got to take some core infantry, guys.
Yeah, if you've got like 70 skeletons in your core, for instance, as vampires, you can have 35 Graveguard.
Yeah, 35 wounds worth of
figures, 9 Crypt Horrors.
Yeah, we'd have to check
something
that,
like that.
double check.
But yeah, it's basically half the wounds in core is the maximum amount of wounds you can have in your special, and then half of your wounds in special is the maximum amount of wounds you can have in rare.
Yeah.
So essentially, rare you can't have more than a quarter of your wounds in core. Rounding up if there's weird.
Oh, you could get 12 Crypt Horrors in with 70 skeletons.
You could.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, so that was the other thing I sort of remember seeing in comp. Additional sort of rules and things that were going to be happening at the event. The first mission was Dawn Attack, I think. It's one of the rulebook missions, and all of the missions are rulebook missions, but the rest are determined randomly. Watchtower is not a tower; it's a hill or a road. Just so you don't screw over Bretonians.
Yeah, so you've got a nice mixture of things you can do there with your list building, which is a good move for me.
Wizards don't add their wizard level to casting spells.
Oh, they not?
You can add pluses from other items or rules, but you don't add wizard level. In the same sort of vein, dwarves don't add the +2.
Okay.
Don't know how that works with Banner of Valea. Not sure. I imagine it just counts as a +2.
Counts as an item, I suppose. Yeah.
So it just counts as a +2.
There's lots in there.
But there is lots in there,
I'm going to do that.
There's lots...
Because I don't want to say it wrong.
Yeah.
Because I read it and I'm remembering these things. I'm like, I don't want to mess this up.
Lots of very sort of different things in there.
Yeah, it's quite different.
If you want a sort of a different event, say it's one day. If you're in or around that area, it's not too far for you. Go check it out.
Yeah, there's a big community up in the northeast as well. I've got to say, a lot of you guys, we're really privileged. A lot of you guys come to our events, and you do come the length of the country. So we promise, if you do a 2-day one, we will get up there. But one day is such a pain.
Yeah.
But for us, cool. Very cool. So that's happening then, 13th of March. Check out that. I don't know, at the time of filming this, there were some tickets available. We may have to apologise and say we've sent you on a fool's errand, but there were tickets available when we looked at it. It's Good versus Evil as well.
Yes, it is. That's the other one. Yeah.
There you go. Very different. Check the pack out. Very cool. Plenty to look at in there. Also, another quick shout out to our good friends at Cardiff Crusade. 11th and 12th of June. They've still got some tickets available. I don't know if it's bucket loads now, to be honest. Last time I looked, it wasn't a lot. So you know, if you're looking for an event in June, well, that's 2 days. Fantastic venue.
Lovely venue. Yeah.
And they actually using the Triple Crown comp and compendium.
Yeah.
So it's basically they've got their own missions. I think.
Yeah.
Own missions, own scoring for things like painting and sports.
Yeah.
But the actual kind of comp is ours. Is our comp system they're using. So, you know, if you're familiar with that, you won't have to worry too much about.
Yeah, 2,500 points. Cardiff, obviously.
Good event.
Hence the name.
We went last year to what's it? It doesn't. I've said to the guys, I'm still trying to work my work roster out. It's a horrible time of the year for me, June and July. So I'm just so busy. So, but I don't think I'm going to get to it. But we are trying, and I know Max is looking at whether he can get the time off. You're on holiday, so you can't.
I'm not in the country.
You're not in the country, so cool. But yeah, you know, big shout out to the guys there. Going to be a cool event, I'm sure. Speaking of events around that, we've got our own Derby Deathmatch event in July.
We do.
Which I think we're absolutely blown away by this year.
Yeah.
So it's the first time we've done this event. We've been to the venue, Balls and Swords Hobbies in Derby. Cracking venue.
Really good venue, yeah.
We've been there before to run events, but this is a whole new style for this year. We talked about it on the last episode of This Month in Warhammer. And insanely, just a massive shout out to our subscribers, really.
Yeah.
This event sold out in under an hour for us.
Yeah.
We just big smiles on our faces last night, weren't there?
34 tickets sold within an hour.
Yeah, 54 minutes, I think, just to be really, really geeky. So that's it. That's the number.
So yeah, we were blown away by the support, and we'd obviously like to thank everyone who bought a ticket and who is supporting us. And you know, we apologise to the guys that couldn't get a ticket. I know there were a few of you who've already got a reserves list going. If you want to be added to that, make sure you email us, the triplecrownguys@gmail.com. We'll add you to the list. But
it's well worth doing as well, because normally life comes along for some people. We always hope it doesn't, but it does, and normally you find that you get one or two on the run up to the event that become available again. So, you know, please do sign up for that, and it's just a huge support for us. We just want to say thanks, and obviously give us your feedback on what excited you about the event, and when you come up for the event, guys, please do give us your feedback on what you thought of it, because it's so important for us to keep trying to improve it and drive it forward.
And like we say, this is the first year we've done this style of event. It's different to the GT. It's different to the narrative, and we're really looking forward to it. Yeah,
it's a real gaming kind of focused event, this one. Yeah. So very cool. Yeah, really excited. I think we're just
can't wait to get back to the venue as well.
Just a bit dumbfounded, I think. To be honest, me and Scott last night were just like, is it really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. So yeah, no, amazing. Thanks so much, guys. We'll talk about it more on the run up, I'm sure, and put pictures of the prizes and things up on social media.
We'll do a sort of runners and riders list, as it was, or as it were, rather.
We've got the GT before that as well.
We do, yeah.
Which has also had such a healthy response for the same. Yeah. So yeah, honestly, guys, we feel very very humbled at the moment over here. And you know, when we filmed this, is the day after we put the tickets up, so we were not sure what we'd be saying about it, like to be sort of saying, you know, there's still some available or there aren't. So yeah, amazing, so cool, thank you. Now, next month we'll have some guests as well, as we start our new to be named properly section, which I've got some ideas for. We'll discuss. Where you know we have sort of different people come onto the channel and they pick who they're going to play against, and they. Generally speaking, choose what mission they want to do, what sort of style of scoring they want to do, what faction the person they play against uses, what faction they use. Feels like they get a lot of cool stuff, and that we get a lot of back footing.
Yes.
So if we can win a quarter of the games, I think we'll be really, really ecstatic.
That's difficult considering the'll probably be 5.
Yeah. Well, we could do 6. That'd be 1.5.
Can't get a quarter.
That's a win and a draw, baby. That's a quarter of the games. So yeah, that's going to run across the spring and into the summer. In fact, I think it'll be a bit more than you think, because we'll be running that right up until the new narrative event starts, which will be the final instalment of the 3-part series you've been following. Now, spoilers ahead. Please skip 30 seconds if you don't want to hear the spoilers. You all saw, if you've watched our last month's final battle report in the Light of Albion, the treacherous behaviour of Thalandor has come to the fore now, and actually, you know, from the first campaign, he was driving the story forward in the background like a puppet master, and now he's
Not with
become.
that accent.
Now he's got more of a drawn out kind of smarmy accent, hasn't he? I don't do the voiceovers. You do the voiceovers. Hold on. Yes, he's got a smarmier accent. That's how he speaks. So there's people watching this that just God,
what is he doing?
That is a crazy Brit. Yeah, so he's obviously going to unleash his final part, and we will unleash the title of the event and more information probably from next month. I'd have thought. Don't want to get too ahead of ourselves, but we'll unleash that information, and we'll fix a date down quite soon for you guys to give you the information on when tickets will become available and all of that. But we are super excited.
We are.
But obviously, the thing we don't want to do is run the campaign on the channel before you guys have had a chance to come and play the campaign weekend.
Yeah.
So we like to do that first so that we don't spoil the story, and also so that, you guys get to come and play the core gaming weekend before we...
And see what happens first.
Yeah, and see what happens first. That's one of your Brucey bonuses, if you will, if you like 90s game shows. So, 90s UK game shows. So someone's frantically typing Brucey bonus into Google now. What's a Brucey bonus? Legend. So we're really excited about that. There's, again, very much in a similar vein to the last one. There's going to be lots of cool different missions, cool characters, new characters coming into the story, as you will have seen the carnage that unfolded across 8 minutes at the end of the last video.
8 minutes?
8 minutes of carnage. Yeah.
I thought it was a long story time on the day at the event.
Yeah, it was probably about the same. Yeah. So yeah, we're quite excited. But I think that's it for news.
Yeah.
Got a bit carried away, haven't I? I like that. Look at that collective responsibility on the channel there. We did. We didn't.
I barely said a word, but that's fine.
So we thought, as we were looking at Jim's list, we'd have a chat about the things that kind of we think about when we build a more competitive list. Now, that's not to say we're the world's greatest gamers, but we do have things that we try to consider, and I've got a few points.
We like to think we know what we're doing.
Yeah, I mean, averagely. So we've got a few points on the list, and I just thought I'd start with you, really. I mean, what is there a sort of a plan that comes into your head when you begin?
Normally, I think it depends. If I'm writing it for a new army that I've never played before, then generally I'll look at lists that other people have used and see what works well for them. Okay. And I'll generally sort of base it around that. So, for Dark Elves, for instance, I've used Dark Elves 2-3 times. It's never been my army, it's always a borrowed army. But writing my Dark Elf list, which I've got so much to do on, maybe 2025, who knows? Writing that, I was like, you know what, I don't know where to start. I didn't want to go Witches and Cauldron, but that's obviously very competitive.
That's a stylistic choice though, isn't it?
But I thought, I do want it to be a good competitive list. I want it to be able to hold its own. So I looked at the sort of the secondary units that most people take, and that really for Dark Elves was Executioners. So then I sort of built the list around the Executioners. So I think for me it's finding a unit or a sort of combination of unit and character, and then building the list around that. And that sort of finding that generally is based on, seeing people at events, seeing people in our sort of local gaming groups and what they use and what works well for them. So that's sort of what I generally use as a start to sort of base the sort of idea of the army on. And then around that, it's just building things that work into that. So if your sort of unit that you take is a hammer unit that wants to smash through things but doesn't really want to sit in the grind, well then you need to combine that with things that make it a better hammer, but also combine it with anvils. Yeah. And something that can just go in and hold something in place for a turn or two until your hammer unit can get round and
you've got to find a way, whether that's going, well, I've got this hammer block of sword and shield guys, or I'm going to take Law of Life so that they've got the survivability baked in. You've got to, like you say, you've got to find the way. And that's, I think a lot actually comes down to the magic law as well. You mentioned Law of Life there to sort of make a hammer more of an anvil, but I don't think you have to make a unit good at everything or good at both, being an anvil and a hammer. If you've got enough of both in your list already,
I think you can just focus on making them better at what they do already.
Yeah.
So, you know, whether that be increasing their strength or attacks or weapon skill or their ability to hit more if they're a hammer, or whether it's increasing their toughness or save or something like that if they're a an anvil.
You can do either way, can't you?
Yeah, but I do think Law of Magic is, and to be fair, Law of Magic is something you can build an army around. You can start and say, I want to use Law of Shadow, so I'm going to build an army around that. Or I want to use Law of Fire, so good luck, it's going to be tricky, but I want to build an army around that. It's doable. It's
very
tricky.
doable. I think there are some armies that can do it, without a doubt.
Yeah. But so that's, I think, important when you start off writing a competitive list. It's finding that core mechanic or combination or unit or Law of Magic and building everything around that. It doesn't all have to directly feed into that. It can feed into something that feeds into that. But it all has to sort of be connected in some way.
Yeah, so, I completely agree. I probably go slightly different method to most of you guys. I eat the book. I'm like, right, give me the book, and then I read the book, and check the book, and read the book, and I probably do that more than I need to. And then what I try to do is I try to apply like the kind of... I have like some principles that I try to apply, which I've got noted down, because they're funny. Some of them are funny. So I think the first thing I think about is I try to look at, like you say, I look at the internal synergy of the list. I look at, right, well, what am I looking to build around? What do I think is the strength? What sort of list is this? Is it going to be shooty? Is it going to be, combined arms, shooty, counter-chargy? Is it going to be kind of holding the middle ground? Is it going to be hyper-aggressor?
Yeah.
I mean, I know that's generally what I'm more known for in our group, is being more hyper-aggressive. But I've sort of mellowed over the last few years and got into the combined arms thing quite a lot with the Tomb Kings and Wood Elves. But I try to pick a kind of a plan, like Scott does, and I pick that plan based on what I think is good about the book. What I think the book does well, So with Tomb Kings, a good example. The first list I wrote was a hyper-aggressor. I put like 5 Sphinxes together and was like, rah, and it was rubbish.
Book does not do that well.
Doesn't do very well because it's not a very hyper-aggressive book.
Yeah.
So then I ate the book properly and was like, you know what, these guys are actually not bad combined arms. They're really good shooting. That's probably their best strength. They've got some good counter-charge combined arms units. The Sphinxes can do that. The Necropolis Knights, or if you're using End Times units, the Morghasts, all of which do that very well. And then like you, I'm like, right, well, I have to take Law of Nakara.
Yeah.
So what supports that type of combined arms list? You look through, you're like, well, not really Law of Death, actually, because that's a much better kind of aggressor list.
Yep.
So I could take that and go, I've got this aggressive magic on top, and have like a Cloak of Dunes wizard or something like that. But it's not going to help me with the combined arms in the same way Law of Light does.
Yeah.
See, Law of Light's a great combined arms law, because it's got long range smash with the banishments and stuff like that,
and the shems,
which support the early turns, and then it's got great buffs with the with your speed of light,
Barona's
Time Warp for the later turns with the counter charge. It's also got good control as well with Net of Alantok.
Yeah.
So all of those things mean that it's a really good combined arms law. But you've got to build that in. You can't pick up that law and drop it into any old army list, because it won't work, because it's a good combined arms law. See Law of Metal for more details. So, internal synergy is where I start.
Yeah.
I agree. Then the next thing I look at is the meta.
Yeah.
So if I'm thinking about events, I think, well, what am I going to be fighting? What's common? What do we see a lot of? And then you can make a choice. I think you can go with the meta and build a meta list that will, kind of work in amongst that. Or you can play out on the bold and go anti-meta. So I built the Tomb Kings. Elves were the predominant faction at GT's events, and so I went very anti-meta. I was like, this was Smash Elves.
Yeah.
I took a chance. I knew that if I fought Empire, not that common at the time, or if I fought Warriors or Demons, which were relatively common.
Orcs and Goblins.
Orcs and Goblins, sort of, tricky, become more tricky because I've gone kind of a little bit...
Quite heavily into the anti-elf.
I've lent into the anti-meta a bit too, a bit for... But it worked out okay for me, it worked out well. I've got a good tournament record with them. But then it's just them working really hard on your tactical play against those factions that maybe you're not quite so sharp against, and that comes back to that internal synergy, and it comes back to constantly having the kind of meta in what you're doing. So that's that. Then the next thing I do is I go for the leaving sentimentality at the door. So what is the theme of the list, Scott?
The theme is winning.
The theme is winning.
Can't can't believe you made me say that.
So, you know, like a bit like you were saying there with the witches, you didn't want to go down that route.
Yeah.
My head's like, no, the theme is winning.
Yeah.
Down they go. So, and I say that because we all do this, and it's why High Elves are a better army book than, say, Vampires, really, from a raw filth point of view.
Yeah.
But on my record with Vampires is way better. And the reason is because High Elves was my first army. I love them. You know, and in my head, I'm like, oh, I want this cool thing.
I want to take these.
I don't want to make
chariots.
all of that. Like, I want the flying bird with the boat.
Yeah.
Who doesn't want a flying bird in a boat?
Yeah.
And those things, they're your weaknesses.
Yeah.
They're the things that bring you down.
Yeah.
You got to leave sentimentality at the door. With the Tomb Kings, it's like, what's their fluff? You know, hoarding
chariot
legions supported, but you know, kings aloft a chariot supported by, you know, mountains of animated constructs. That's rubbish.
Yeah.
It's a rubbish list. It doesn't win any games.
Just take archers.
Just take the shooting stuff and take the magic.
Cats.
They're really good magic as well, by the way. One of the best magic armies in the game.
Yeah, that is arguably better than their shooting, I think, is their magical prowess.
Completely agree. And I think this is the thing that's really important, is to leave that sentimentality at the door. There's a place for themed armies.
Yeah,
we
absolutely.
run a fantastic narrative event, even if I do say so myself, which is driven around themed armies. Themed armies do better. Themed armies get bonuses.
Yeah,
you know?
even if you're just playing sort of casually with your friends in your gaming group, you
100%.
can always say, "Oh, should we just have like a fluffy game? Shall we?"
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to take a Tomb King on a chariot leading 15 Tomb King chariots and have nothing else in the army because that's a lot of points.
I know that. I know certainly that chatting to a Triple Crown GT 2021 winner, Alan Benison, just drop that there, and chatting to him on his excellent podcast Toy Soldier Tales. That's 2 shout outs on the trot.
Yeah,
Al, just saying, mate. But he was saying to me that one of the things that his gaming group do is they actually use the Triple Crown GT comp to do that. They'll be like, right, let's make lists that are +8. You know, that's it. So we agree that it's going to be a softer list.
Yeah.
He talks about it as like a universal language where you can say to anyone he plays, take a look at this, make your list this, and you know, that's how he kind of measures up a more fun game versus a really hardcore game potentially.
Yeah.
So I think there's ways to do that, but in a raw building a competitive army for an event, leaving sentimentality at the door is vital.
Yeah.
You've got to just be like, I think you're really cool, mate, and I'll keep looking at you in my case.
Yeah.
Or you'll be my little cheerleader. I have been known to put some core models on the side of the table in the past to be like, yeah, they're just my cheerleaders. I'm just really pleased with them, but they don't go on my list.
I think you touched on a really good point there as well. It's thinking about the comp, especially if you're going to an event. He's thinking about, is there any comp? What is the effect that my comp score has?
Is it a comp score? Is it calls?
Is it a score? Yeah.
Is it traffic lights?
Exactly.
Is it? I mean, years ago, events like South Coast GT used to have like you get a score between like -5 and +5 type thing, but it was based on you could have 5 hard choices. You couldn't offset it with soft choices.
Yeah.
There was a maximum of 5 and a maximum of 5, soft or hard, either way. And you know, the idea was to try and be 0 basically, but and if you weren't, you got a bump or a bump the other way.
Yeah.
You know,
but you couldn't have 7 hard and 3 soft to be a -4.
No,
Yeah.
you had to. You could not take more than 5 hard, and certainly traffic lights. I've been to events like that. I don't remember what ones. I want to say, but Blood and Glory maybe one year, but I'm not sure. So sorry if anyone's watching from that and they're like, we've never done that. But you know, certainly traffic lights where you say, well, you know, these, you know, Frostheart, you know, second Frostheart Phoenix, Ban of the World Dragon, and Alario are all red. You can have one of them. Yeah. So you have to choose now, you know, and so that's another thing that massively informs the shape of your list.
Yeah.
So comp is really important. So I tend to try and build my list and you know, include the comp as I go if I can. But it's that, you know, it's a hierarchy really. Internal synergy is number 1, and I think that's what you were saying. Then I look really hard at meta. Yeah. Then I look at, you know, making sure I'm not being sentimental about my army list, and then maybe I take a look at the comp.
Yeah, that's sort of interesting because I'd say I probably write 65 to 70% of the list without really thinking too much about the comp. Now, it's not to say I don't then go back over those bits and go, actually, I could make very minor changes and get a plus here or not get a negative here. But I think I'm like, I want this in the list, I want this, I want this, I want this. I'm probably about 60-70% of the way there. My comp score at the moment is a -4, right, what can I do? What can I add in those last sort of 800 points, 500 points, whatever it might be, to offset that slightly, to get back to a more sort of smaller minus. Yeah.
Well, we talked similarly on the Dwarf Deep Dive, didn't we? One of the lists was a minus 12.
Yeah.
And we were saying, I don't know if we said it on the camera or just afterwards.
We said it on.
We were chatting about the fact that if you were looking at that now in a comps event and going, this is my list, this is the power, this is what I want. Actually, we took 2 or 3 minutes, it took us, didn't it? Just to pull and pluck at a few threads. Didn't really change the output of the list hugely. No. Dropped 6 points off the comp.
Yeah.
Huge. And you're like, and we haven't really stretched ourselves. We haven't sort of made real concessions at that point. But I think that's exactly really what you said is a better encapsulation of what I was driving at, which is that, you know, for me that it's that 4th tier, if you like, is the comp.
Yeah.
But my list isn't finished without looking at the comp. You know, I've got to look at that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's tucking it back in. The only other thing I've got here is chaff.
Yeah.
The amount of guys I see that build competitive lists, and it's like, right, I'm doing competitive Empire. There we go. Good example, because I'm looking at Empire a lot in a minute. And I've got 2 units of Demigryphs, I've got 2 steam tanks. I've got Law of Life Wizard, and then I've got 60 Halberdiers in a unit. That's my army. Or, you know, I mean, that's a good example. You know, and you go, right, that's my army. Bosh, deal with that, mate. Or High Elves are another common one you see this with. You look at the core slot and it's just a massive unit of Seaguard. Or a big unit of, like, Knights, Silver Helms. You're like, cool. And then they're wondering why, like, halfway through, like, a really competitive GT, they're, like, languishing middle bottom. And they're like, but I've got all the best stuff in the book. And you're like, where's the internal synergy? There's no internal synergy, mate. You've not, you know, you've got Law of Life and Steam Tanks. That's your thought. So that thought for you is internal synergy. Yeah. I've got 1 big unit and Law of Life. That's my internal synergy. It's way more than that. It's way more than that. You know, you've got nothing to clear enemy chaff, so you'll get chawed up. You've got nothing to act as chaff to control your opponent, so you'll get all of the worst charge. A good player will ensure that you have all of the worst ends of the charges.
Yeah, your opponent will determine every single charge that you make.
That's it. And that is bad.
Yeah.
So I always put a point on chaff. I always finish by looking over my list and saying, do I have enough chaff? Do I have enough chaff clearance? It's vital. It's a huge part of the internal synergy. It is, for me, the vital game-winning part.
Yeah.
See 20-0 Tactics redirecting for more details on how important that is. Someone came up to me recently and went, really good video, that. I was like, cheers, mate.
But just on that chaff point, I think you can get away with, in some armies, not having as much chaff as you maybe might think you need if you have enough chaff clearance.
Yes.
Ogres are a fantastic example. You can get away with having 1, 2 if you count Nobblers, units of chaff, if you have lots of lead belchers to clear your enemy's chaff.
I agree, yeah.
Or fire bellies with fireball to just clear your enemy's chaff, because you don't really care what ogres charge. They'll probably kill it, and if they don't, you weren't going to win anyway.
They're not frenzied, are they?
No.
It's not the same problem that, say, warriors have, where they've got like lots of frenzied troops and they need to think seriously.
Or witch elves.
You know, I mean, again, a good example of this is looking at the Slanesh list we discussed a little while ago, where I've got like 3 or 4 chaff units in there. And their whole job is not just to clear enemy chaff, it's to stop me getting pulled out of position too far. It's to control my enemy charging my units when they have been pulled out of position. These are vital things that form up the shape of your army list. You know, you don't want your steam tank to get charged by something that's, you know, by a unit of enemy knights, say. Because they're probably, you know, they might not kill it, but you're not really going to do
like
a lot of damage to them.
What does it matter?
You know, they're going to hold it up. And you need it.
Yeah.
You need it to do that job, because you're relying otherwise on toughness 3 halberdiers. You know,
with basically no save.
You need that.
Yeah.
But they might not need what they've put into it. If I put 6 Chaos Knights into it, that's a terrible choice. Or, you know, but you know, or like a couple of Demigryphs.
Yeah.
I'd wage 3 Demigryphs on that, 180 points, and I'd let it sit there against an enemy steam tank.
5 core Empire Knights.
Yeah. I'd let them sit there on that.
1 up armor save. They're probably going to stay there for a while.
And just get the job done. I've lost count of the games. At Cardiff, I charged a single Hex Wraith into a Hellpit Abomination. My opponent felt very hard done by, and I do feel that he was hard done by, in a way. But he, you know, that was there for the whole game. I didn't get the points for it.
But he didn't get the points for the Hex Wraith.
Yeah, he didn't. It ran away in the end. I didn't catch him. It was really upsetting. But the point was, that Hellpit Abomination was a nightmare for me to deal with, and I dealt with it all with just that 1 piece. And Callum was a good player. The first thing he did, I'm killing those X-rays. I had 1, just the 1. But it was, you know, but again, you know, so it just goes to show how important that element is. I always think if you build some points into to choose to get killed, you know, like some chaff blocks you're happy to sacrifice, you'll almost certainly lose less points as a result than you would have if you didn't have them, because that's when your best unit doesn't get flanked by big unit skull crushers and dies. But
so I just have a final point which I've just thought of. When you have got your sort of first draft of the list, doesn't have to be your final draft, but I would say don't change more than about 15-20% of the points.
I'm recalling this conversation between us a long time ago when you were first getting into kind of tournaments.
Yeah, because you know, you might find that actually, you've built this list that you think's got loads of internal synergy, it's got enough chaff, you know, there's nothing sort of sentimental in there, it's all there for a reason, which is great, but you might find it just doesn't work. That doesn't mean the core concept of the list won't work. It doesn't mean those core sort of 2,000 points won't work. It might just be those 500 you've added on to maybe make your comp score a bit better, or you know, something like that.
The loadout of your characters, the position of the units your characters are in. You know,
the formation of units.
Yeah, the small things that you're missing, you might suddenly go, actually, you know, I don't want that second Necromancer, I'll have a Calm Wraith because he causes terror, and actually that would have added a lot for me in that game.
Yeah, and actually, you know, I've got enough magic, so I don't feel like I need that extra Necromancer. Or, you know, this unit is
not being sentimental again. I don't need him. Out he goes, exactly. I can replace him.
Or you know, like, you know, sticking with vampires. Oh, that unit of Vargeist. Yeah, it's good at sort of chaff clearance, but I've got a Vargulf who does that really well. I've got a Terrorgeist who, you know, he's more than happy to do that. Or, you know, hunt war machines and things. So actually, I might make this unit of 4 crypt horrors into a unit of 6 or 8 crypt horrors.
Yeah.
And then, you know, just those small changes can really make a big difference. And I think the loadout on characters is a huge one.
Yeah.
That people look at and go, oh, that's my Vampire Lord, so he's got this. Or that's my, you know, High Elf level 4 Wizard, so they've got this. But actually, you can change that about and it makes such a big difference.
I think particularly on what I call those support characters, oftentimes you look at your Lord and think there's not really much wiggle in this. If I change him, he fundamentally gets worse. But you can honestly look at a lot of your supporting characters and go, yeah, actually, this would be much better. You know, I had Scroll of Shielding and we was playing some games a few weeks ago on some Chaos. 4 games, I'm like, I just need to lose that. I've got it, and it's just not really delivering. There's quite a lot I could get. It's only 15 points, it's not a lot, but I'm going to wiggle this around and move this to there and do this, and actually, I keep the items I need. I can now take a better item on, say, my Lord, because I mix this round. And like you say, it's just that tinkering. I think also being really critical with yourself after games is really important, particularly if you're playtesting a list. And going, actually, you know, what was that? Was it the list? Was it the dice? Was it me?
Was it was it a tactical mistake I made?
Was it my opponent? Or did they do something amazing and I just didn't see it coming? You know, because that's how you get better. It's not always what's on the tabletop. A lot of it is what you do with what's on the tabletop.
And asking your opponent, you know, if they think that you could have done anything differently, if they think that you could have that you did anything wrong, or if it did just come down to the dice. Sometimes it does. You know, as frustrating as that can be, especially when you want to get a feel for how the list works. Sometimes the dice are just against you, and there's not a lot you can do about it. But I do think asking your opponent, especially if you know you're playing at a sort of a friend, someone you know quite well, who's maybe not going to be as concerned at, you know,
about your feelings,
about
your delicate feelings, leave sentimentality at the door.
Actually saying, you know what, I think you did this wrong. I think they should have been there. I think this should have happened here. That can be a real sort of insight, because sometimes you can't see your own mistakes. No. It's difficult, but from the other side of the table, it can be a lot easier, because you can say, actually, I can exploit that and get in here and do this.
We even do that after battle reports on the channel. We'll start, but we'll finish, and then we'll be like, you know, where do you think it, you know, what would you have done if you were in my position at that point?
And if I'm playing Max at that point, I say I'd have probably rolled a 9 for that leadership 10 rerollable test. That'd probably help.
Oh, poor Max. So that's it, really. I think that probably rounds up most of that. I mean, again, if you've got any questions, if there's more stuff there you want to explore, you can always get in touch with us. We love to talk about it, and we do try to put our best foot forward, I suppose, and give you the sort of the inner machinations of the madness. So what can you expect in the next 4 weeks from triplecrownwargaming.com? Well, you can expect to see the Duke's newest purchase. You didn't even talk about the fact you purchased this.
I forgot.
I can't believe this. So Scott purchased a new Skaven army. Which he got off of Dave Church.
Cheers, Dave.
Cheers, Dave. And they're pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, they are,
He took them to GT last year as well.
He did, yeah.
So they're a very cool army. And they will be getting their debut in the War Council this month. They're going to burrow to the surface to do battle with the High Elves. I can't wait. Get
Very,
my highlights
very
out.
nostalgic. Island of Blood-esque feel.
Yeah, it's got that whiff of Island of Blood about it. So that's going to be cool. Now, with the Light of Albion campaign finished, you've seen the 8 minutes of raw destruction at the end. Once again, we're going to answer one of the big questions, Scott. The big questions. Those ones that we look off into the beyond unknown and try to fathom. Who is the biggest count?
Who is the biggest count?
Is it Vlad von Carstein? Or is it Karl Franz?
We will find out.
They'll be clashing in this month's Big Boy Beatdown. So I can't wait for that. That's going to be so good. Oh, who is the biggest count? You love to see it. Cannot wait. Now, after their performances on the last campaign, we thought we'd take a look at building a Wood Elf army for yourselves in this month's Bind for Beginners episode. So I think that I'm looking at Scott because I want him to do that.
Feel like that will be me taking you through that.
That'll be you. Now, this month's Warzone is an evil affair as Malekith the Witch King takes on Inkari the Keeper of Secrets in the clash of the Night of Pain and Pleasure.
Very dark elfy.
It is, yeah. With two of the biggest villains in the old world, you're definitely not going to want to miss that one. Similarly, a tale of chivalry and heroism. Well, not similarly, oppositely.
Completely opposite.
A tale of chivalry. I was going to say chivalry and heroism will be found this month in our Hero of Legend slot as we discuss Gilles Le Breton.
For the lady.
I know you're going to enjoy that one.
Yeah, I will.
And in addition, as we're on to snippets and things and tales, we're going to move on to the home stretch now. We're going to make our 6th video on the battle magic of Warhammer.
We're getting through them.
For 20-0 Tactics. And this month we're going to focus on one of my personal favourite laws, actually, which is the Law of Light.
You do use it quite heavily in your non-elf, non-undead armies.
Yeah, and in my undead armies.
Yeah,
I do.
Not just non-vampires.
I've even been known to use it in vampires. That's a story for another day. 50% Lords and Heroes. That's all I'm going to say. So we'll move on to the competitive character series as well. We're going to bring you arguably the best infantry lord stat line in 8th edition Warhammer, which is the Chaos Lord. He's going to get the competitive character treatment in the next 4 weeks. Now, this month's Magic and Mundane will save you, but only if you meet the right criteria. I love this. Magic and Mundane is my favourite for this. We'll be discussing talismans that offer you conditional ward saves. So those ones where it has to be a specific scenario for you to score it. And finally, we will scour the length and breadth of the Badlands as we bring you the Orcs and Goblins deep dive. I know that after the Mammoth Dwarf one, we're looking forward to an equally mammoth Orcs and Goblins deep dive.
Well, at least they won't have as many magic items and runes.
No, but a lot of units.
A lot of units.
Yeah. So, that's going to be fun. Look forward to that for all you Orcs and Goblins fans.
Yes.
Barry, I know you're going to be watching that and probably shaking your head at me for losing all my games of Orcs and Goblins. I think I just channeled a real spirit of a goblin when I do that. So, that's it. Thank you for joining us once again for this month in Warhammer. Make sure that if you haven't done it, you head over to triplecrownwargaming.com and sign yourself up as a Knight Errant or a Knight of the Realm if you're feeling like you want to take the plunge.
Yeah, why not?
And if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you stick a subscribe on there as well. So shall we watch me in a fur coat?
Yeah, go on then.
We'll see you next time, guys.
Bye, guys.
Remember to tag your friends and like, subscribe and share. Then head over to triplecrownwargaming.com and become a Knight of the Realm today.
What are you doing, mate?
You alright?